We do it. Check. Hello. Check. Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is. Is it Wednesday? It's Wednesday. Wednesday, September 22nd, 8:39 in the morning. So that means it's hump day. I didn't title it as hump day today. It didn't even dawn on me to. I apologize for that right there. But hey, it is hump day. I appreciate you guys coming in today. I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. It's been another interesting week of just stuff happening. There's been I'm seeing a lot of negative news this week. And we're going to talk about some things today about not necessarily the specific stories, but just how we need to react to some of these stories, I guess you could say. I don't even know if that's the right word. I don't even know if that's the right term I'm going to use. We'll get into it though. Today, I want to just, I just want to start off by saying thanks for everybody supporting the show so far. We had a little boost in YouTube this past week. We doubled our subscribers, from 10 to 20. I mean, hey, we got to start somewhere, right? And what I like about you guys supporting is that it's genuine. It doesn't feel like I'm getting fake people, or it doesn't feel like I'm getting people who don't like actually interact with the show, or like, you know what I mean? It's like organic and real, and I appreciate you guys. And I want to always make my promise to you that I will always keep it real as much as I can, and I hope that you do the same. Okay. I gotta check my calendar for something because I'm pretty sure it's street sweeping week, and I'm pretty sure I'm parked on the wrong side. It is. And I'm pretty sure I'm parked on the wrong side. Whatever. If I get a ticket, I get a ticket. Okay, so I want to remind everybody of the current state we're in, just to give some context. If you are watching the show, or if you're listening to the show, you know, significantly after the show has aired, I like to give some context, and I don't always do a great job of doing that in case somebody comes and listens to the show, because we do upload to Spotify and Google Podcasts and things like that after the show's airs, because we're live right now on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch, and then I upload the show unedited, uncut, any of that. I don't ever edit it. I think I've edited a podcast one time, and it's because I had to like leave my computer for a second. But other than that, I don't cut out what I say. I don't cut out content or videos I show or anything like that. So if you're listening to the Spotify right now, just know it's uncut, unedited, and until we get sponsors or whatever, it's gonna stay like that. And I mean, when I say we get sponsors, whatever, I mean there shouldn't be any ad breaks or anything like that. Okay. Just to give a little context, this is we're coming off this week where first off, we're entering week 3 in the NFL. Week 3 of college. We just exited week 3 of college football. For those who did not hear, the University of Utah's quarterback, who was benched during a game last Saturday, completely quit the team. That doesn't seem like it's a big deal, but it kind of is, because there was a while when football was kind of like this like man sport, right? This like build character, overcome adversity, learn to become a better human being kind of thing. But now college football, specifically NCAA, has kind of evolved into this weird business, right? College football is a business. And now this kid quit on his team because he was benched during a game. And Nick Saban, the coach for the University of Alabama, said this a few years ago. I think it was last year he said this. He was doing an interview over Zoom or something from his house, and he was talking about recruiting. Nick Saban is one of the best recruiters. It shows he has much of national championships. He's produced a lot of NFL athletes. If you are a recruit, he's talking to high school kids, or if he's talking to parents. If your kid, talking to coaches or parents, your kid, the high school athlete, has bounced from school to school, from transferring from school to school because of playing time issues, he does not want him. He's talking about football players that change schools for playing time. And no matter how many stars this kid has, no matter how many accolades this kid has, even if he's like one of the best players in the country, he will not recruit that player if he changes schools too many times, or changes teams too many times, or complains about playing time, because that shows that he can't overcome adversity. So I want to remind everybody to just stick at it, and just I want to remind everybody that you are where you are for a reason, and you can overcome any obstacle that you are facing, in whether it's your job, whether it's at home. I believe in you. Okay. Some more context. We are seeing this article. We're seeing the story float around the news right now, social media, mainstream media, all that kind of thing. And it's a story that has been proven to be false, yet mainstream media keeps twisting it, right? Let's talk about it. We're talking about what's going on the border right now, that the border is completely out of control. So many illegal immigrants coming across the border. I'm not going to talk about policy today. I'm just going to talk about what's going on. Okay. So we have Haitian migrants illegally come across the border. Okay. I could sit here and we could dissect this for about a half hour, talking about how did the Haitians get here. There's about 12,000 of them that are trying to cross the border. I could be more, but I'm pretty sure it's 12,000 at least. Immigrants from Haiti, well, I'm not going to call them refugees, because there's refugees. If you get classified as a refugee, you do get asylum in the country most of the time. They might be refugees, but I don't know specifics about who they are as people. But Haitians are crossing the border, and our border needs to be protected, and there are men and women out there doing their job to keep the border secure. Now, there's this story, or a picture rather, of the Border Patrol agents riding horses to control the border. It's a pretty, known thing that they do. They ride horses, and there's like pictures from them trying to manage these people that are illegally crossing the border, and they're saying that these agents are whipping these refugees. And it has been shown over and over again that they are not whipping these migrants, these people that are crossing the border. Okay, they're trying to detain them. They're trying to deter them from crossing. I don't know if they've actually I don't know if they're actually detaining them, like arresting them. I just know that they're trying to deter them from going across the border, and it is not really working. But they're claiming that these agents are whipping these migrants, and it's been proven by the pictures that that's not true. They're simply the reins on the horses. If you've ever ridden a horse, you know that the reins, when you hold the reins in your hands, there's sometimes you give it more slack, there's sometimes you put them on either side, but it flows in the air, especially while the horse is running. And yet they continue to pull out stories, mainstream media, that just are completely false. It is this, I'm about to show you this article from Business Insider. Why Business Insider is reporting on this, I'm not totally sure. I need to do some more research, I guess, about what Business Insider actually talks about, but this doesn't seem to be business related. What's up, Austin? Welcome to the show. See, they are here. I'm gonna show this article is titled. I'm gonna show it right now. This article is titled, Texas Republican Congressman Says the Border Patrol Agents Filmed Whipping at Haitian Migrants Are Doing God's Work. I have not seen a video clip of these Border Patrol agents whipping them, partly because it didn't happen. So they'll show these pictures, like this one here. I'm gonna see if I can make this picture full screen. They'll show this picture, like this one here, and saying that this guy is whipping this guy. Okay, and you can see there's other angles, there's other picture where I will admit it kind of looks like it. It kind of looks like the Border Patrol agent at a glance is whipping him. But if you know anything about riding a horse, if you've done anything outside, you know that that's just not the case. But yet, this Business Insider article continues to say headlines like Texas Republican Congressman Says Border Patrol Agents Filmed Whipping at Haitian Migrants and are doing God's work. So they're basically saying that the congressman is defending Border Patrol agents whipping migrants. But the thing is they're not whipping migrants. You see how this title and see how this headline is misleading. Even in the description of the pictures by Getty Images, a United States Border Patrol agent on horseback tries to stop Haitian migrant from entering encampment on the banks of the Rio Grande near the, I can't say that word, Acuna del Rio International Bridge in Del Rio, Texas on September 19th. Never even in the description of the video is it describing the agent as whipping the migrant. Austin, I'm glad you can be here with us. And if you go on to look at these videos from the article, you'll see, the videos that are embedded in the article, they just are ripping apart these Border Patrol agents for not letting people cross the border. I want to remind you all of something. When Kamala Harris was running, like during her campaign for president, she said things like, we turn people away. That's not us. That's inhumane. We're the people that raise the Statue of Liberty, yet we say people can't come here. I'm paraphrasing. That's exactly what she said. Then, less than a month into her presidency, she said a speech. I don't have the video pulled up. I did. I accidentally closed it. I'm not going to spend time pulling it back up. But she said, do not come. If you come to our border, you will be turned away. That is what Kamala Harris said. She completely 180'd what she was running on, which is, for whatever reason, that I'm not here to pick apart that. So, if even our vice president said he will be turned away, and these Border Patrol agents are trying to do their job and keep our borders secure, yet mainstream media is ripping them apart. The migrants were warned what would happen if they came to our border. They will be turned away. If you cross illegally, that is a crime. You are a criminal. I'm not here to talk about the efficacy of all of that. I'm just here to talk about the reality of it. The reality of it is there is a government, there is a appointed authority official on horseback telling you you can't come this way. So if you try to go around them, they're going to grab you and they're going to throw you back across. He was not whipping him. He was not tasing him. He has the means to pepper spray, to tase. I want you to look at his equipment here. Let's go back to this picture. Look at all this equipment he has. You don't think that he has the means to tase or pepper spray these individuals? I can tell you from firsthand source that the Border Patrol agents don't wish harm upon these people crossing illegally. And they do know that a lot of people are just seeking refuge and seeking, better for their family or whatever. But at the end of the day, there's a security issue if you let mass amount of people, undocumented, unidentified, come across the border. It sucks to say, but at the end of the day, we have to keep the border secure for the betterment of Americans. So I titled this episode today, and this is really what I want to focus on, is that the truth may never be revealed. Okay? We have seen this time and time again. Well, we all know the phrase, the truth will be revealed, or we've all heard that like the truth will eventually be leaked, or the truth always wins, the truth always will come to light. I'm beginning to learn that is baloney. I'm beginning to realize that in today's day and age, that is not always true. And here's why. See, you will see this headline, or you will see this picture. You will see. I'm just using this as an example. I didn't really want to dive into that deep into the story. I just want to use it as an example, but I had to give you some backstory. I had to give you some context. You will see this headline being used. You will see this like picture being used. You will see this verbiage being used about agents whipping people at the border or whatever. You'll see this used time and time again, even if proven false. And you will see this skewed view spread more than when they redact it, because they will eventually redact it, meaning that they take it back and they say, or retract, or I think it's retract, whatever, the story, and they like apologize and they correct it. But they won't blast that. Okay? We've seen story after story after story, surface level, it looks bad, anti this, especially when it's left against right. I hate to say this, but most media is skewed way left, and there is some that's skewed way right. But at the end of the day, we all know, everybody knows, that mainstream media does this thing where they grasp a picture, they grasp this story, and they blast it, whether they're right or wrong. And they blast it. And they'll shame people, and they'll come at people, and they'll say, this person's bad, this person's wrong, blah, 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 blah. And then when it comes out to be false, you do not see the truth, or you don't see the correction, you don't see the apology by the media spread equally as much. So although the truth was eventually said, you may never hear it. You may never be revealed to you. It may never be revealed to the masses. I guarantee you, in 3 months, people are going to still bring this up in arguments about whatever, even though it has been proven, it has been shown, there's no video. If there's all these cameras, you'd think there'd be a video of a Border Patrol agent whipping a migrant. It's just the reins on the horse flopping around. It's not actually being used as a whip. Okay? And we've seen other stories. The stories between that private school kid versus that Native American male, and they made it seem like the kid was anti-Native American, like whatever, and that he was saying slurs and all this stuff, and he got completely ostracized, and then it came out that the Native American man was a total dick, but you never heard that side. You never saw that part of the story. So the truth may never be revealed. It's more like the truth may never be discovered, because we have this like disgusting system that wants to be first to, first to the punchline, but they don't necessarily want to be right. They'll skew it to fit their narrative, and even when they come out to correct it, they will never, ever, ever push the truth as much as they push their original viewpoint. So I'm saying all that to say is that at some point, I used to always just wait it out. And I was part of the problem. I used to just wait it out and be like, you know what? The truth, they're gonna come out with the story and say, hey, that's our bad. This is what actually happened. Or an opposing news source will push the truth more and it'll overtake the bad story. And then people realize that that news article that was written was false. But I've come to realize that that won't happen. Not in our day and age. Not right now. Not in this climate. And it's really unfortunate. It's kind of like, I think like back in high school, I would hear rumors or sometimes they're about me, sometimes they weren't about me or whatever, but I'd hear a rumor and I'd be like, okay, well, that's clearly probably not true. I'll wait for the truth to come out. And it usually did. Because it was just word of mouth, right? Sometimes it did, sometimes it didn't, but for the most part it did. But I never, opposed that much the rumors that were spreading, because I just, in the back of my head, knew and figured that, hey, the truth will come out and then we'll get the story straight. But in today's age, that's just not happening. So I'm going to encourage others, as well as myself, because I've been part of the problem, is we have to do a better job of calling out BS. You can still be nice about it. You can still be respectful. Still have your tact. But at the end of the day, we need to stand up for what's right. And when we see something that is clearly not true in the media or in the news or spreading around on social media or whatever, we have to do a better job standing up and pointing out the fallacy or whatever that word is. Jeremiah on Facebook, that's because the new pundits make money spewing emotionally fueled opinions with cherry-picked anecdotal evidence and pass off as facts with viewers' confirmation bias. Jeremiah, very well said. I'm going to read that again. Jeremiah had a very good point jumping in the Facebook chat. Thanks for coming in the Facebook chat. That's because new pundits makes money spewing emotionally funded opinions with cherry-picked anecdotal evidence and passed off as facts with viewer confirmation bias. I'm going to explain a little bit what Jeremiah means. Let's just say CNN, business, whatever. Let's just say mainstream media source sees a story and they only point out the viewpoints that fit their narrative, and they post it and add in some eye-catching or clickbaity titles and pass it off as this is what's true, and they push it to their audience and they get an emotionally fueled response because their audience already agrees with what they're saying, and it basically confirms their biases, right? That's what Jeremiah is saying. Jeremiah, good input on in the Facebook chat. Appreciate you. Jeremiah is right. This is the perfect example. This article that we're talking about. I'm going to bring up the picture again. This picture right here. I can't tell you how many. We could probably go through these news articles right now. Look, I'll go through this right now. This is what we were just looking at, Business Insider. This is just like a news article like feed. Right? It's just different articles, and it tells you at the bottom left who it's by, right? So let's go to the beginning. Charges, man snapped, killed 4, then left 4. Okay, that's bad. Texas Governor Abbott sends miles of cars along border to deter migrants. Okay, let's just go into this. Greg Abbott, the governor of Texas, has sent a fleet of state-owned vehicles to line up for miles as barricade along the border of Mexico, insisting the state was taking unprecedented steps as thousands of migrants still seek to cross into the United States. I'm just skimming this article right now, and this was posted 4 hours ago. So I would imagine that this picture was taken this morning. If you can see it, it's literally, it just looks like a bunch of cars just lined up. Again, now they're talking, if you read this, if you read down here a little bit farther, I kind of like this. This is by Washington Post. It's a little less biased. This specific article, I'm not saying that it's always like this. But they already talk about Trump. This is a third paragraph down. And they talk about how he's xenophobic, talking about how it's racist to have a secure border, all that kind of stuff. And as you can see, there's sometimes it's not always true. Sometimes it's pretty, I would guess, center, but it's pretty emotionally fueled. They're piggybacking off of the stuff that's going on at the border right now. And they're trying to make it seem like it's a waste of money. They're trying to make it seem like it's a waste of resources to have all those cars there. When really the Border Patrols are trying to do their job. And Kamala Harris said about a month after her getting into office, completely 180 on what she was campaigning on, and said that if you get to the border, you will be turned away and sent back to where you came from. I paraphrase a little bit, but you guys get the idea. So we have to do a better job collectively of people who know the truth, or at least can see past the BS, and we have to call out. We just have to call it out. Not to sound too extreme, but I think the integrity of our nation, the sovereignty of our nation depends on it. Let me tell you why. Let's just use the vaccines, for example. I've talked about the vaccines a lot on here. I will probably continue talking about it because it is the gateway to what is going to make our country completely unrecognizable if we keep going the path that we're on. People are blindly following the quote-unquote science that isn't really science, that is being talked about on social media. They're not using any sort of like logic. They're not using any sort of like their own common sense. You don't have to be a scientist to understand what science is. You know what I'm saying? Let me explain. Farmers, bodybuilders, they use science every day. Two completely different kind of people, and neither of them probably have a degree, but both of them use science every single day. Hunters use science. It's not necessarily theoretical, and it's not necessarily they know every single, detailed, every little thing that they do, but let's put it this way. A farmer uses or practices science in the way of this. I plant a seed at this time of the year in this soil, it doesn't grow. Let's change what I do. I plant a seed over here in this kind of soil in a different type of sun, a different time of the year, and it does grow. Records data, does the same thing next season, and grows that plant again, grows that vegetable again. That sounds super cut down, that sounds super cut and dry, but that's science. Science isn't, people have this like weird thing that like science is like this weird, science is questioning things. Why did the apple fall? Well, we got to discover why the apple fell. And it's also the how, it is also like the way it happens too, right? Like why, when I push on this object, do I also feel like I get pushed back on, and why does that object go this direction, what is it, like force equals mass times velocity? What is that? So I'm pulling some stuff out of the back of my brain. You get it. There's some stuff that you can be educated on, but there's some stuff that you just practice. You are able, as a free-thinking human being, be able to look at raw data and look at what's happening out in the world and realize that that's not working. Masks, for example. Masks don't work. How do we know this? Well, the states with the most strict mask mandates still are getting about the same rate of cases as everywhere else. Places with the highest vaccine rates. People are still getting sick with COVID. Israel has the highest rate of people vaccinated, and people are still getting hospitalized with COVID. And they are hinting at a 4th booster shot. Yes, 4th. So whatever we're doing isn't working. It doesn't take a scientist, somebody with a doctorate degree, somebody with a master's degree to see that. So we need to do, all of us collectively, need to do a better job of just calling out the BS. And why do I think we can do that? Because I believe that most people, contrary to what I see on TV, most people have a little bit of wherewithal, a little bit of actual common sense. Nicki Minaj is a prime example. She might not talk she might not, speak the most elegantly, she might not have the most education, but she has street smarts. She has common sense. We talked about the Nicki Minaj on Monday's episode. By the way, sorry for not having an episode yesterday. I was busy trying to catch up with school and stuff, but y'all get what I'm putting down. I think I'm going to wrap it up right there, but just the takeaway from today's episode is we have to do a better job collectively, myself included, of calling out BS and spreading the truth so that we can start to erode the ability of these huge media sources to be able to just spread, like Jeremiah said, emotionally fueled opinions with cherry-picked anecdotal evidence and pass it off as facts with viewer confirmation bias. We got to be able to start to eliminate and cut that down. And I believe we can do it. I appreciate you guys coming in today. Today is going to be a good day. It's hump day, so we're halfway through the week. I believe that you can accomplish anything you set your mind to. So get after it today. Make sure you like this, whatever you're listening on. If you're listening on Spotify, whatever, make sure you subscribe. Go to Anchor and make sure you catch up on all the episodes. We're on Anchor is what I meant to say. Let me re-say that. We're on Anchor. I upload to Anchor, and Anchor distributes the podcast everywhere for me. I'm not asking anybody to support with money. I'm not asking anybody to support monetarily, but if you would like to, you can go to Anchor and you can subscribe for like 99 cents a month or something like that, or you can do like $5 a month or whatever. Hey, Jeremiah, thanks for staying in here, brother. Make sure you, on whatever platform you're listening on, just make sure you like, follow, comment, whatever. If you are listening right now, make sure you go follow the live show so you can catch us when we're live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Not asking you to follow on 3, just follow whichever one will get you involved. We're building up the live audience of this, everybody. It's a slow process, but I like where we're going. I like what we're doing. So make sure you don't have to support with monetary. Like I said, you can just share, and that's the biggest support I need right now. The show needs, and we can grow this thing together. All right, guys, I appreciate you guys stopping by. Until next time, peace. Hook 'em.